This is Joe Vika Television, all the way from California, Syria, all over the world. This is Joe Vika Television. Come on, yeah. Everybody got a story, either lose or win. Everybody imperfection, everybody sin. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, everybody got it in. This is Joe Vika Television, making story films. In times enough for magazines or the bulletin. When they take my advice, live your dream and do your thing. Nowadays, things will be seen, be like no be seen. In Joe Vika Television, truth is what we sing. We are boys to reach you with the truth. Oh, oh, oh. California, from here we reach the world. Oh, oh, oh. It's Joe Vika Television everywhere. Oh, oh, oh. The social media handles it. Oh. Joe Vika TV, information, breaking news, politics, interaction, religion, and everything. Joe Vika Television, poised to reach you with the truth. It's Joe Vika TV in all social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's Joe Vika TV. YouTube. Subscribe and get all notifications.
Hello, wonderful people. I bring you great things all the way from California. We are reaching you wherever you are. I want to crave your indulgence. So please humbly, honorably join me in this program this morning or evening or afternoon, depending on where your location is. My name remains Joe Vika, and I'm broadcasting from Joe Vika TV. I still want to encourage each and every one of us that have joined us already. Please do us a favor, let others come. In this program today, you're going to be hearing some mouth-blowing information and testimony of some people who have gone through so many severe pain in wherever country they have found themselves. And you're going to be also be hearing some phone calls. We're going to be making an interactive session. Time will come where we're going to allow you to use this phone number to call in to tell us your own story or tell us what we do. As a people, as we talk about a problem, I still believe we can also talk about the solution. What is the solution? What is the way forward? You can see the government is not working. When you talk, they come against you. You can see the government is not ready to do something better for the populace, for the children, for the masses. They only amass word for themselves and for their children. And we can't keep quiet, watch them killing our destiny and future of our family. We got to speak out and make sure that people hear us out. And one thing I know, the Bible says, speak if they will hear or not. And that is what we are doing. We must definitely speak. And today, I have some wonderful, notable individuals that are going to be joining me in the studio to talk about this wonderful topic today. I have the first person I have in my list is no other person. If you see the flyer there, some of you who are on the page will definitely agree with me that you may have seen the flyer. I have the first person. The first person that is already live with me here is no other person than the Dr. Chidi, aka all the way from South Africa. In a couple of minutes, you're going to be allowing him to enter the studio to say hi, and we continue from there. We're also supposed to be having Imal Duru all the way from Canada, but unfortunately, I haven't seen him yet in the studio. But wonderfully, he trusts what God can do. When one road blocks, another will always open. We quickly call on one of our brother and pleaded with him, despite his tight schedule, to please join us in the program. He's not that person that the Pharisee Ngwamba. If you're hearing him in nutshell, he will tell this and say, if I don't get the name correctly, I apologize. But when the time comes, he's definitely going to be on live with me to share this particular thought of everyone. So at this juncture, I welcome you, my brother and friend, Dr. Chidi, aka and Feruz Ngwamba. I hope I'm correct, sir. Here is Dr. Chid. Dr. Chid, can you say something to the public? Are you with me, sir? Okay, sorry. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Greetings to
Yeah,
all our viewers. I greet you all in the wonderful name of Jesus.
thank you
You are
so
highly
much.
welcome to this particular program. I'm
Thank you.
delighted to be part of this particular show today, which is going
Thank
to
you.
touch quite a number of lives and better the lives of those in diaspora that is facing a couple of challenges. Thank you for having
Okay.
me in the program.
Thank you. God bless you. Welcome. Welcome on board. We also have our brother. Please, sir, can you introduce yourself and tell us your name and where you're
Good
checking us from?
evening. Good evening to those who are in a place where if we give good evening is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And good morning to those who are in places where if we say good morning, it's correct. And I'm so humbled to be part of this program. And I greet you all in the name of Pan-Africanism and the love of Africa. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Good to have you, sir. Good to have you. Okay. Wonderful listeners and viewers. Today, we know how much time we already started behind schedule. I don't know, that could be the reason why we are not having some of the people that really promised to join us in this program. But whatever. Those that did join us live now can always watch it later and see what is going on. We want to move on with our program. After this short time break, we begin to take the questions and listen to some of the clips that I have in my disposal, and we'll be able to put our view on those points. See you on the other side of the program. Welcome aboard, guys.
Joe Vika TV. Information, breaking news, politics, interaction, religion, and everything. Joe Vika Television. Poised to reach you with the truth. It's Jovika TV in all social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's Jovika TV. YouTube. Subscribe and get all notifications.
Okay, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, every one of you. So we are looking at today the sufferings of our people. When I mean our people, the Nigerians in diaspora, what they go through. And why it's like this? Because back home, our politicians, our leaders has refused to do the right thing. They don't have uh, the desires of the people at heart. They prefer doing things for themselves. Hence, our children, our people still running around looking for money, looking for how to survive. They become the survival of the fittest. So that is the cause of why we have different, all of our people, different countries of the whole world. But unfortunately, having seen that we are not finding it easy back home, wherever we find ourselves, it seems like we are being turned to be something else. Sorry. We are being turned to be something else. You see how they just go around trying to deal with us. And we want to say, for how long can we continue to have this torture going on? Inhuman treatment by our host community. Meanwhile, we have some guests that are people that's in country that we are better off. When they are there, we don't treat them that way. In India, they just come and beat you up. Sometimes they kill you, they shoot you dead, and nobody's going to say anything. So, in no time, let's continue with the conversation. Dr. Chede, what have you to say whenever we talk about the sufferings of Nigerians outside their place of domain? What is your view? Do you think it really happening? Is it true? Is it a fabricated story? Have you witnessed it? Do you have any first-hand information about it? If there is, fine. And we're going to narrow down to UAE, where it is really getting worse almost every day. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Joe. I want to start by stating a fact to say that the challenges faced by Africans in diaspora is general I don't want us to narrow it down to just Nigerians alone. There are other nationals also passing through similar challenges. But I believe that individual foreign affairs departments of various countries are in positions to ensure that their people are treated humanely in wherever they find themselves. There are countries that have different immigration policies. Yes, it's good to have, immigration policies that will check crime, check illegal immigrants, whatever. However, these particular laws must be visionary. These particular laws must be such that will not be designed to enslave these particular illegal immigrants or immigrants, for example. And just like you're saying, for instance, we'll take that of UAE. Yes, some people go to UAE to seek for greener pastures. However, some of them go with visas of 3 months. After the 3 months, they begin to charge them for overstay. The first day
After
your
the
visa
3 months,
expired,
they begin to charge them for overstay.
Overstay, yeah.
Okay.
I was meant to understand that the moment your visa expires, on that first day, you are charged 400 dirham. Then subsequently, they begin to charge you 100 dirham for every day you overstay. But you see, it is a global thing that migration is part of life. You cannot take away life from migration because people will continue to seek for greener pasture, most especially from the African continent, because the African continent is passing through quite a lot of challenges. So wherever we could find greener pasture to help our families back home, you see people moving towards there. However, what I'm saying is, let the laws be such that has a human face, such that is designed, you understand, to assist people and also provide solution for that particular imminent problem.
Okay.
The immigration laws should be designed in such a way that it foresee future challenges and provide solutions on how these particular challenges can be addressed. So if you come up to say, whoever overstays, on your first day you pay 400, and subsequently you begin to pay 100, it means that you are invariably enslaving the person, because now the person
yes, sir. Hold on, sir. You've made a point, because I don't want you to exhaust all the information within your disposal, because I'm still going to be asking you questions to buttress some point on what you've just said. I want to hear from you, my brother. Please help me mention your name very well so that we'll be able to get you right, sir. And tell me, if possible, where you're joining me from. And well, you just had a question. Is it true that Nigerians are really suffering outside the domain of the country? Is that correct? Go ahead, sir. Then your name and response to your question. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Joe, for the question. I think the idea of suffering of Nigerians in the diaspora, like what my counterpart has mentioned, should not be looked at a Nigerian setup only. We can expand it beyond and perhaps begin to ask ourselves questions and push it to a level of saying the suffering of Black Africans. And we bring in the connotation of race. Because apart from the whole issue of suffering being focusing on individual or particular countries based on their reputations, but there is also behind it the issue of race.
You have a point, sir. You have a point, sir. But why? And you're just giving me another view. We need to really talk about the suffering of the Black Africans all over the world. But I discovered that even the Africans suffer, their fellow African in African territory. For instance, your country, I know you're calling me from South Africa, am I correct?
Yes.
Good. You can hear, you know about the xenophobia. So that sometimes it looks as if this thing always boils down to mainly Nigerians. We are going there, but go ahead with what you're saying. And I just want you to have that at the back of your mind as you conclude what you're saying. Thank you, sir.
No,
Sorry for
thank you so very
interjecting.
much.
Yeah.
I've raised the idea of race, and for us to begin to look at migration on a race perspective. Because, like we have mentioned, in South Africa, we have had issues around, even though sometimes people may not necessarily want to speak about it, the issue of xenophobia, the issue of discriminatory policies and laws. But what I'm trying to say is, like what you have raised, what is it that makes us Africans suffering even in our own continent? We can begin to look at our past. Are we really proud of being Africans? And I think Dr. Eke has mentioned one thing that which is very important. Some African countries, like the issue of raised, have limited of resources, which when other Black Africans come in, without looking at Chinese or Indians, these other Black Africans, when they come in, they are perceived to be the one who are going to be in competition with fellow Africans who are eating leftovers of the economy. Thanks.
Thank you very much, my brother Feruzi Ngwamba. Did I get that right, correct, sir?
Yes, Feruzi Ngwamba, yes.
Oh my God! I think you got to make me an South African today, since I pronounced the name very well. That's good. Okay. Sorry for the noise at the background. Um, Doctor, he made mention of the sufferings of black race all over the world, even here in America. I also discovered that most of those who have this black skin color go through a lot. Some the racism globally is something. Could we say why they are treating Nigerians and blacks all over the world? Is it because of racism, or is it particularly programmed against Nigerians or the blacks? In your own perspective, or what can you say? Tell us about this suffering of black race all over the world. Do we say that this suffering is mainly for the black race, or is it because of the racism associated with such country? Or is it narrowed down for only Nigerians, more especially the case of UAE and all the rest of them? Yeah, please, sir.
Just like my colleague Feruzi had said, that the issue we are discussing has a lot of connection to race. And you find out that the black race is targeted. However, my position is, at what point do our various ministries of external affairs, foreign affairs, as tagged in some other countries, going to get involved to look at the plight of their nationals in diaspora, to address some of their challenges? Because if those in these particular departments bring up the issue, then some of these particular matters can be adequately addressed. But if the Department of External Affairs or Foreign Affairs are not doing what they are supposed to do, then the plight of black race in diaspora will continue to suffer. And just like Farouze said, you might have two different people from different race in the same circumstances, but you find out that the person from the black race suffers the most, or the African suffers the most, because there is this particular stigmatization on that particular color to say, no, this particular person will bring trouble. This particular person is this particular person is that. But these are issues which can be raised by the Foreign Affairs Department to say, look, we're not happy with ABC. For instance, that of the UAE. Why should you put a 400 dirham fine on the first day after somebody overstays? And subsequently, you continue to charge the person 100 dirham every day. So if the person stays for 1 year, it means that the person has been enslaved in that particular country. Why must it be so? So what is the Department of Foreign Affairs or External Affairs doing? Because these are policies that are supposed to be reviewed. So what happens now is that some people are practically enslaved, even in United Arab Emirates, because they cannot come back. They don't have legitimate places of work to do because they don't have paper. So invariably, they are being enslaved in United Arab Emirates as we speak.
Okay. Somebody has a comment. I'm going to show it later. But before then, there was a disturbing video I watched about a guy. Just take a look at this video.
Hey, because send that receipt. Because oh, I'm because oh God. Hey, send that receipt. Send that receipt. Send that $20,000. Send that receipt.
This is somebody that had something to do with their brother abroad, and it happens that the brother took some couple of items or goods and asked him to hold on for a kind of collateral. So when I bring the money, my brother you release my brother. Look at what he has turned his brother to. So because somebody, based on the comment somebody just made, that's why I'm putting that video right there with you. Is it that some of us are the problem? We've made ourselves to be a problem. That's why they decide to be hostile to us. Or it's naturally that people are wicked. My brother Feruzi, is it that we are also dealing with ourselves? So watching them dealing with ourselves, they also follow suit to deal with us. Or it could be that maybe they're just trying to be wicked. He made mention of our foreign affairs. I'm going to come down later. But what do you think that could be the reason why we go through this? We hurt ourselves, they also hurt us. What is the problem and what is the way forward? Yes, sir.
No, thank you so very much. Before I respond to your question, let me touch a little bit on what has happened some few days ago. I'm not sure if you did follow. There was a launch in Abuja of Nigeria-South African Youth Dialogue. This dialogue that was launched to bring the Nigerian youth and South African youth together to discuss issues affecting themselves. But the question can be, when that dialogue was established between our two presidents, was the youth that really need that dialogue consulted by perhaps the Nigerian embassy in South Africa to try to find out from the South African youth, the South African youth living in South Africa, a Nigerian youth living in Nigeria, to have that dialogue in the South African space for it to be productive. So basically it's to say, in whatever bilateral that have been happening, like what my counterpart has mentioned, there are issues of national importance, of regional importance that are not raised, which perhaps host countries end up doing whatever that they can do, because there is no a genuine idea of allowing people to live in harmony. Let me go back to your question. Immigration itself does have economic outlook behind itself. People migrate with different reasons and different objectives. I may be, let's not only say about Nigeria, I may be in Ethiopia I am suffering. I'm looking for Gina Patchers. I know my brother is in South Africa or is in Dubai. He brings me in to allow me to develop myself or get whatever that I need to support at home. I put that in my mind, but when I arrive in, this person tells me, no, I paid for your transport. I pay for your visa. You have to work for me for this particular moment for you to get your freedom. So yes, some of us, we are a problem among ourselves, but the most important thing in this topic, I think we need to focus much more, not on what we do to each other, because that happens even in our home, in our own countries. But let's look at policies and laws that are there to protect foreigners, to protect immigrants, to protect refugees. Are these countries respecting those laws? Because, yes, we do have our own issues that happened from our own individual countries before even we arrive to any foreign country. So for me, the video clip that you have put, I am not surprised because those things, they really do happen, not only in the diaspora, but sometimes they happen even in our own individual countries. But I think the most important aspect is to look at the policies and laws that exist and how countries relate. How do they draft this bilateral agreement, like what my counterpart has mentioned? Thanks.
How they relate in terms of bilateral uh, agreement. Okay, we're going to be listening to the audio of a guy. Uh, okay, if maybe because of the he used the vernacular, he used the Igbo language to express himself. So I want us to look into this scenario. This guy have been doing well in Ghana, to be precise. Um, it came to a point that he took ill. He was sick. So he decided to stay home. He also employed a Ghanaian to work with him in his shop. The Ghanaian, they were doing together. The guy was too nice, very nice. He had the confidence of allowing him to have access to everywhere. So, but when the Ghanaian discovered that this guy had been on sick bed for a couple of, for a long time, he decided to do away with some of the guy's items. He started stealing. He didn't just stole something from the store. He went to the parking store to also make sure that he gathered a lot of items and took them to himself. Now, this guy one day was not too comfortable with development. He decided to go and see what is going on in the shop and discover that the shop has been vandalized by this boy that's working with him. People gave him some couple of goods to put in the. We had people, even some people use the parking place. What do you call it? The parking store. There are some other people's goods that are also there, but everything gone. So the boy came with that sickness, took him to the police. The police saw it and was so angry with the guy, arrested the guy, put him behind the bars. Now, the next thing is to go to court. And they went to court. The court was in process. He said to his own greatest surprise, they turned the case against him, was making some frivolous charges against him, and told him a lot of. The guy was like, "What?" In fact, the guy turned down and started coming after him. Now the people that had their goods stolen from the parking store are coming after him. The government that are coming after him because of how the court turned everything against him. Everything turned against him. The guy had no option than to run away from Ghana. And he lives from hand to mouth in back home. He had been crying. See, he has lived his life crying. He would have wanted to join this program to say this by himself, but he cannot even afford data to watch us live. Somebody borrowed him data to communicate with me. And we are saying, why should human being, why should human being think of maltreating his fellow human being? Do we forget that there's a law of karma? Do we forget that whatever you do to others, one day will definitely come back to you? Why? I like the point you made. Let's forget about what we're doing to ourselves. But the ill-human treatment and some stringent condition, torture, suffering of our people in the hands of our host communities or host country is becoming unbearable. Then back home, we are not at home. What do we do? We can't.
Let me.
What do you do?
Yeah,
Doc, go ahead, sir.
Let me come in at this point. That we are trying to discuss this issue at an institutional level, at an international level. You know, I don't want us to. It might not be right for us to now, bring it down to an individual level, because what happens now is that we lose focus of actually what the key issues are. Because by the time, just like my counterpart said, if you go to the court of public opinion, there are different opinions about different race.
Okay, you've made a point, sir. Let's go to international level. So I want you to hit the point at the international. Let's go on with that. I love that.
Yes. My point is this, that if the right immigration policies are put in place, there are legal channels to seek redress. Because you find out that for us to be able to have a better grasp of the situation, we must be able to listen to both parties to know what happened or what did not happen. We are not in that particular position to be able to determine what the truth is. I have not said what you said is lies. But what I'm saying is we must look at the both sides of the coin to be able to determine what the situation is. However, what I'm saying is this, that at an institutional level, the immigration policies, where they are not favorable for immigrants, in that particular instance, it is the duty of the external affairs or foreign affairs to begin to communicate to the host country on how to review those particular aspects of immigration laws that enslaves those in diaspora. And if that is not done, the problem will only escalate.
Yeah.
What happens now is, because people are enslaved in a particular setting, what happens? It reduces urban safety. Urban safety is reduced to the barest minimum. And when that happens, crime at that particular time begin to thrive. So creates a platform where even illegal immigrants have an opportunity to legalize their stay and do legitimate work. And that even those that cannot find legitimate work have another open window to go back should they want to go back. But what happens now with the case study we are looking at in United Arab Emirates is these people are there every day. They are charged for overstay. They can't go back to their home country because you must pay at the airport before you go. Then you don't have legitimate working documents to work. You cannot.
And if they apply for them,
Legally,
are they being given? Are they
yeah,
not making
and the
effort to apply
opportunities
for
are not
a
there.
renewal?
You understand? So it
Did
makes
you hear me,
the
sir?
situation
Excuse me, sir.
very.
I said, hello, sir. Excuse me. Hello, sir. Are they not making what if someone want to renew his the visa or staying visa? What is the process? Don't they allow it, or what's the problem with that?
Thank you for that particular question. I have been made to understand that they allow it. However, what is happening is some of the firms in United Arab Emirates employ foreigners and withhold their passports. These people work for 1-2 months without being paid. Then they release the passports to them at the last minute.
Hmm.
And at the last minute, the amount of renewing their visa becomes so high that they cannot afford it. Then it falls into overstay.
Wow.
Then the moment it falls into overstay, then they begin to get exploited by these particular firms.
So, in other words, this is a calculated attempt to exploit people. That's what I can say. Okay.
In fact, it is not exploitation. What I call it is enslavement. That a lot of the black race are being enslaved in United Arab Emirates.
It's
Because
okay. Thank you very
do
much.
not have legitimate legal documents to work with. What has happened is that the system now enslaves you because you are paralyzed. You don't have a voice. So we are calling the authorities to say the charging of visitors, immigrants, and overstay of a particular amount is inhumane and should be reviewed.
Okay.
And that
They're
a window
charging.
should be there to say, let us make this particular thing easy for these people to stay, so that let there be a process to legalize their stay, which is not going to be streamlined or difficult for them to do. That is my position on the matter.
Thank you for your position. They should make every effort to make things better for the people to legalize their stay. Can we say, is it not possible, or is it not high time we took a decision to avoid people going to most of these countries? For me, if you allow me, I wouldn't want anybody to make any paper traveling to such country. Because number one, you were talking about the authorities, our government. They're not ready for you. They're busy amassing the wealth to their personal pocket and bank account abroad. So the more we keep crying, calling on them, for how long can we get justice? Then justice is not going to be gotten so easily or at a platter of gold. It's not going to. Is he not number one?
Yes.
As individuals, let's avoid these countries. I mean, Doctor, Brother Feruzi, can we not talk of let's avoid such countries? Or do we say, or the people in that country, can they do something maybe because we have embassies in such countries? Can they move down to the embassy, block the embassy of such from where you're coming from to take care of their citizens? Either to send them back or talk to the people there. What is the solution to this inhuman treatment? Brother Feruzi Agwamba.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much, Joe. If you look at countries, there is no any country that can survive as an island on its own because of the availability of resources, availability of skills, availability of social capital, which means we can't really say our people should avoid to go to country A or country B. Because initially, you will find that any country will need people from somewhere else with particular skills. which that country need. But also, we got also to look at the history of certain countries and how those countries were developed to reach the status where they are. A country that was developed through exploitation will never allow itself to distance from exploitation, despite the changes that have happened. A country that was developed through cheap labor will always struggle to apply or implement better conditions of employment because its foundation sit at exploitation and cheap labor. Now, if these countries sit or its foundation is built on cheap labor and exploitation, it will always develop policies that have loopholes that will allow people to be exploited. Which, to go back to my counterpart, what Dr. Chidi has mentioned, it is therefore the duty of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, any country, to begin to look at those policies to say, we have a bilateral agreement with Emirate Arab on petroleum, on exchange of skills, on exchange of labor. And then we look then, Nigeria as a country, does these policies have implementation mechanism that will protect people when they are coming in? Like the example that my counterpart has provided. You come in, you pass through an airport, you have a visa, you have come in a country legally, but someone has a power to collect your passport. What does the state do? The hosting country. Is there any law that can judge that person to say the act of collecting a passport from somebody is a criminal act? So as these people cannot do that. But if there is no any law that criminalize the act of collecting a passport from somebody, then this person can do whatever that he wants. But now, during this bilateral, and that's why I like the word that Dr. Chidi has used, these institutional level discussions, do we really have time to look at those particular things in those countries? For example, I'm going to give you a practical example. In South Africa, if you are granted a refugee status, you have rights that are attached to the South African Constitution, Chapter 2 of the South African Constitution. The only right that you don't have is to vote and to be voted and to be a member of the security cluster. But the question comes, those rights that are given to the refugees, is South Africa as a country capable to provide them, to allow them to compete at the same level with local people?
Good question. Very good question.
That takes me to the issue of national aspirations, protection of citizen. Does a country have the right to protect its citizen? In a matter of a case that involves economic benefit? Does the country look at foreigner at the same level equally to a citizen when it comes to issues of education, when it comes to issues of opening businesses? I think, let me stop by there. Maybe perhaps Dr. Chidi can come in and attempt to respond to my few questions.
Yeah,
Joe,
yeah. He's going to respond to your question. Before that, we're going to take a very short break where we encourage the people to please do us a favor. This mind-blowing information coming from these wonderful guys on the studio is something that one can share with other people for them to watch. So I want to encourage you, those of you watching me, please do me a favor, share the video, let people hear. You can hear the bro Forizi made a very wonderful point talking about foundation of countries that was established in trying to extort money from others. And hence such a foundation is unestablished. There's nothing one can do about it except the higher institution, as mentioned by Dr. Chid, comes into. But the problem I keep saying, are they ready to come into the matter? Let's take a very tiny short break, and Dr. Chidi will come in for his own reaction. Thank you. Hello, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Dr. Chid, you had some reactions, some comments, some statement that he made that really caused for reaction. What could be your reaction in what he had just said? You had him well, briefly, because the program is coming to end in a couple of minutes. Where he said, I want to make sure it's only 1 hour program so that we don't, people who's going to watch later can still have your data to watch from beginning to the end. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I want to thank you very much, Joe. I don't want this particular discussion to be just one of those particular interviews or interactions. I think that this particular discussion should be the part one of it. I want to seek your indulgence to invite people in the embassies, the Nigerian consulate in Dubai. Let us engage with the consular general. Let us engage also with the Dubai authorities. Let us come to the table and begin to discuss the policy situation, immigration policies around these particular issues we are discussing. Because that is why I'm saying that our discussion at this time, you understand, has to be at an institutional level, at a high level, where we begin to engage these people. Let us engage the Consular General, the Nigerian Consular General in United Arab Emirates. Let us engage him. Are they aware of what is happening? If they are aware of what have they done? Let us engage the United Arab Emirates authorities. Let us engage them. Let us find a way. We need to change the policy. So this particular matter is a serious matter. We are not just going to discuss it here. Let there be a part two of it. Let us invite them. Let us give them opportunity for them to come. Let us interact. And that is what we want to do. We want changes for our people. We want changes for the Black race in diaspora. And how can we get this change? Let us begin to engage those in authority.
I muted myself. Okay. Let us begin to engage those in authority, and that is your message. But the problem is assessing the authorities. That's another case of its own. We can always make sure here, thank God, we are on air. This thing can be watched globally. Some of us who have relations who are in authority, you never can know who know those in question. Do a favor, after the end, I'm going to be sending the video to your link. Always share the video to as many as possible. More especially, I'm sending it to your YouTube so that people will get into this and watch it. The program is coming to an end in the next 10 minutes. My brother Feruzi, I just wanted to ask you this question now. I said it earlier, but I didn't hear your reaction. Is it out of place for those who are going through this torture, take a march to the home where there's the kind of the embassy of the host country? I mean, the embassy of their country, Nigeria or South Africa, wherever, to the host country where these things are. Is it out of place? Do you think it's going to be a solution to most of this problem? Just direct to the question so that I will take the last one because we're almost coming to our end. Yes, sir.
That may not necessarily be a solution, Joe, because even to organize those matches, you need to apply for the hosting country to allow you to do so. And most
Wow.
of the hosting country, they will want to protect their image in the international community. So as they shouldn't know what is happening, because certain countries would say that you need to be given a permission for you to do a match. So for the protection of the image of the country, no any country would like to see citizens of another country marching to an embassy to express their disagreement between the relationship that exists of the two countries. And that's why I gave you the example of the Nigerian South African youth dialogue. I've tried to attempt to ask young Nigerians and young South Africans if they know about it. The majority who are victims, they don't know about it. But if you'd say Nigerians youth to say they would want to march to Pretoria at this Nigerian embassy, they are going to be told, but there is this platform at institutional level, which is a Nigerian youth dialogue space where these things are supposed to be discussed. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Doctor, I still throw the question for you. Although he has just made a very good point that maybe the host country might definitely not give you the opportunity to make that particular answer. Now, writing them, what do you think? If you see one or you had to what my brother said, that's fine. But writing
Yeah.
such a playbill as in a capacity of those who are going through this, is it going to be of any effect?
Yes,
Or
it
the
is.
whole solution boils down to the higher institution? Thank you.
You see, social media has made it quite easy, very easy for us to reach out any organization, any institution we want to reach out to. These people have Twitter handles, and the foreign embassies have Twitter handles. Let us send a public message to them, invite them to the platform. You understand? Engage them. Look, send them a message on Twitter. This is our position on this. We want to engage you on this.
Even on their website.
The consular general of Nigeria in Dubai will send them a message. This is what the situation. This is the plight of people in Dubai. We want to engage you on this. Are you aware of this? If you are aware, what have you done? Let us back home in the Foreign Affairs headquarters in Abuja. We send an invitation. People will hear. Let us stimulate discussion on Twitter also. Let us come down and begin to discuss it. And I'm sure that, look, the social media platform is such that you cannot ignore what happens there. You know? So let us engage. It is possible for us to engage with them, and let us continue to fight for the plight of the black race in diaspora. Not only Nigerians in diaspora, the whole black race in diaspora. Thank you. I think you're muted, Joe.
Oh,
You're muted.
my apologies. I discovered that I muted myself, and when I was talking, I didn't know I should unmute. Sorry for that. So you made a very wonderful point that we should not just fight for our own people, maybe say Nigerian, for the black race in wherever we find ourselves. We are brothers. God didn't make any mistake that say we are all the same color. And that's why it hurts me when a black will rise against black. It hurts me so much. That's no way we can do that for ourselves. So if we can get it right, one of the points to get it right is to see every black race should see themselves as brothers and sisters. Whether you're in America, in whatever country you find yourself, we are brothers. God knows why. They took our brothers, they take them to wherever they find themselves. We are still together. So we should not discriminate that this country are going through this when you know you are from such, you still have the same color with you guys. I also want to encourage our people to please play your card very well. Don't break the laws. Don't take laws into your hands at the same time. Express yourself in the way it manner. And if the law of that country does not favor you, quit. Quit. And one thing that hurts me so much, you talked about they wouldn't allow them to have a very reasonable amount, an affordable amount to renew their stay. They wouldn't also want to repatriate you and say, go back, like some developed country. They want to keep you to be paying some money. When you refuse to pay, you are in prison. So I want to ask Dr. Chidi, you made mention of that, taking money, extorting money from them, making you a prisoner. So if at the point you have no money because you don't have work permit anymore, you got no money to you continue to pay them, what happens to the person? Do you have idea what happens?
If you want to return home and you get to the airport, you must be able to pay all the charges before you are allowed to leave the country. Should you fail to do that, then you will be jailed for a certain number of months. You understand, for violating their immigration laws. So you'll be sent to jail if you cannot
this is not fair.
Yeah,
it's not fair. It's unfair. You kept somebody, you put a very high amount of price for him to renew his visas. You are starting money from him. He wants to leave you so I can't pay. You will still, oh my God. So for me, it's okay. My brother Feruzi said something. There's no way we can run away from each other. We grow by each other. But at the same time, please remember, I'm also a human being. Treat me like one. I can't run away from. We need each other, and that's one thing people do. We need each other in life, no matter whatever you think. No countries, no individual, no community grows in isolation. We grow from each other. If there are no strangers or immigrants in South Africa can never develop. And if you think you are developing, you want to take them and push them away, you are going back to your status quo, to your level where you started from. So if we really need each other, countries should think towards this and consider human beings. We are all human beings. We came from somewhere. What is your parting note in this regard? Because the time is against our brother Ferris. Just that is a parting message as we conclude for this wonderful program. Yes, brother.
Thank you so very much, Joe, and thanks again for inviting me in this program. I'll just conclude by saying our countries too do have an obligation to ameliorate the living conditions of our people. If our people decide to leave the country and go abroad and face whatever suffering that they are facing, it's because the leadership is failing our people to give them the minimum that is needed. Yes, every country needs each other. Yes, we need each other. But at some point, we need also to have comfort space where we are coming from so as we can be respected where we are going. Looking at how other citizens are treated in other countries, it's because of the status of their own countries and how their countries treat them and how it responds to their need. Thanks.
You're welcome. So your parting words, Dr. AK, what's your parting word for this wonderful program?
Joe, my parting word at this point is for us to stimulate a hashtag, a Twitter hashtag, you understand,
Okay.
that will stimulate discussion around this issue to expose, you understand, the plight of many Africans in United Arab Emirates. If we stimulate that discussion, a hashtag, I am telling you, we don't know how far that can go, and it could save thousands of lives.
Okay, wonderful listeners and viewers, we thank you for joining us. It's exactly 1 hour at the top of hour here. It's just about some seconds. It's 1 hour with the program, and as I said, I don't like keeping people too long. Thank you, my wonderful guests in this program, and those of you who watched us. I really appreciate your presence, your comment, your reaction. Thank you, Casey. Okay, let's see. For that particular, they say until the black race. I really like that comment. That's why I highlighted it a couple of times. He said, until the black Africans come together as one, they will keep suffering. And that is the truth of the matter. If they don't think they could have won, the suffering continues. And it's not also possible or so easy for them to come as one. But to a reasonable extent, let them have the mentality that we are brothers and we are sisters. Stop hurting ourselves. Thank you for being this program, sir. Feruzi. Just when next we call on you, please do me a favor, see me in the program. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so very much, sir.
Yeah, God bless you.
And thanks you to the viewers and listeners.
God bless you. Dr. Chidi, thank you for coming in this program. And I still want to encourage you, when next we call you, do us a favor. Do not hesitate to be with us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Joe, for having me.
God bless you. Listeners and viewers, it's incumbent on you guys to do us a favor, share this video, let it go viral as much as you can. Hashtag to embassies, more especially United Arab Emirates and other countries. You find that the people are going through a hell of torture there. Let's take a hashtag to them and see if this evil can just end. I also want to plead with every one of us that whatever happens, whatever you can contribute to make your home better so that it will reduce the extent of where people live, that's another good one. Thank you and God bless you. I love you guys. Bye-bye. Have a good one.
Joe Vika TV. Information, breaking news, politics, interaction, religion, and everything. Joe Vika Television. Poised to reach you with the truth. It's